We are live. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. What are the support levels for this dip? What should you do when you get to those support levels? Don't make me say it. Don't. I have TA news I can rant on, and a separate rant in a conversation I had with somebody on which do you like better, Ethereum or Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke as a couple or as a group. The philosophy of Vitalik versus the philosophy of Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke on a major Twitter space. I couldn't even believe what I was listening to, but what I can believe is that after listening to it, ETH down 5%, courtesy of our friends at the government, in my opinion, eventually winds up Christmas. Now, if you want to hear more about AI tokens, about how you rotate out of stuff that's up 25% and you rotate into stuff that's higher quality, okay, yeah, it's down 5 or 6%. Who cares? Who cares? Okay, let's welcome who's on the stream, and then I can commence. I can politely do news and the rant together. Okay, we have Bull Runner here, Augusta, Georgia, Richard Barry. Okay, SFG here early. Welcome. Shizzy L, don't worry, I'm going to carry the flag. Okay, we have the Boz here, right? Andre, Dump City. Nico catches the stream. Madrid kept checking in. Wrong again. Appreciate you being here. Amsterdam Steady. Travis is here. We are live. Carpe Diem, best part of the day. I appreciate that. Okay. Nico, we'll look into your coin if we can. Croatia, the UK. Please hit the like button. Reverend Flashback is back. Rugby Performance Labs, welcome. Daniel J, JP Stanley, right? All right. Bart is here. Welcome. Okay. Wrong again, says Operation Choke Point. Okay. Pancakes and peanut butter ready to deploy. Okay. The lovely Miss Donna is here saying, teach me, oh wise one. Yes. Let's rock that. Appreciate you being here. East Tennessee in the house. Cape Town. Right. James, what's up? Okay. He said, if I had more crypto friends, I'd tell them to subscribe. I appreciate that. You know who needs to subscribe? Your non-crypto friends. We do a lot of shorts on this channel with like evergreen stuff, 5 reasons why Bitcoin is great, or 5 reasons to think, 5 reasons to come up with a trading plan for Bitcoin, etc. And Big Rich is here. Okay. All right. Daniel, good morning from Sydney. I got more news and more charts than I can handle. Our friends at the SEC. In other words, FTX's handmaidens investigating crypto exchange over securities violations. Kraken agrees to shutter crypto staking operations to settle SEC charges. So, like 2008 and 2009, the innocent pay for the sins of the guilty, right? They did this to banks. We couldn't proprietary trade. Liquidity was reduced. We lived with regulators in fear. Now, everybody's got to take the wrath of FTX. So the SEC does its thing, which is typical. Okay? The innocent suffer for the guilty. Now, if there is a bright side to this, U.S. banking giant Mellon says digital assets are here to stay. Here's an important thing to think about, and I have been saying this for a while, and it's fallen on deaf ears, and now it's going to change with whatever they're trying to do with staking. People in the legacy world, like Michael Saylor, hello, need to start issuing bonds denominated in Bitcoin. So instead of paying $100 for bonds, you pay, I don't know, 1 Bitcoin for 1 bond, let's just say. Then the market will move those bonds back and forth, and those bonds will establish, they'll have a coupon. They'll have it, a bond is an IOU, right? I'll lend you money and you give me an interest rate. And then the bond market actually moves those bonds around, and that's how interest rates change. That's how it works in the US Treasury market. Why is it that nobody will issue bonds denominated in Bitcoin, tokenized securities, whatever? Why not? Okay. You can probably do it in a foreign jurisdiction. If you can't do it here, there are ways to do security tokens. Bitcoin needs a yield curve. So if there's a silver lining to the guilty, the innocent suffering from the guilty, it's that somebody comes up with a proven market-based mechanism to establish interest rates for big cryptos. Okay, and of course, there's the follies of the government. But again, you knew this was coming, right? They were going to have to make it look like somebody other than them was at fault. AI token search traffic spikes as crypto traders seek exposure. In other words, unfortunately, crypto has a way of effing itself. We saw this with the ape token in the metaverse right before the Celsius problem. We saw this, right? Something moons indiscriminately right before a correction. And frankly, I was like, rotate out of that into something else. I tried to be subtle, and I was probably too subtle. One point I was not subtle about is that the people who invested in AI 3 years ago are selling AI to anybody who's looking for AI right now. Like, I paid $20 for, Chat GPT Premium. I have a great story about that. But the fact of the matter is, when I looked up the AI tokens, everything that went up 40% turned around and went down. And as it turned out, the mania over this and some shenanigans and some stuff that was shady surrounding the NFT platform, the NFT trading platform, if you will, program, whatever, on Bitcoin, got a little stupid, as I understand it. So again, we get NFTs on Bitcoin, and all we do is prove the Bitcoin maximalists right. At the same time, everybody is chasing yesterday's news. Meanwhile, today's news is the SEC is giving you a gift dip, but everybody already lost money chasing this. Professional research, professional ideas, and even if you don't have that, not repeating the mistakes of the past can help you. Now, one thing that is interesting is that things like the Graph token doubles in 24 hours. Okay, when stuff like this starts appearing, right? Remember how everybody was interested in FTX? Now all of a sudden everyone's interested in price. This is why you probably got the top, right? This is what leads to washouts. Okay. Now, speaking of washouts, Meta asked many managers to get back to making things or leave. In other words, the country club life in Silicon Valley is over. They're going to get more efficient, which is probably good for their stockholders, but bad for the employment picture. Like, every time I look at this, it's like, hey, Jerome, are you looking at this? Right? Interest rates are rising today, most likely because the Russians are selling European government bonds. So the Russians said, we're dumping all euro assets this morning. That causes bonds to go down, and that is adding to what's going on in risk assets today. So if you're the Fed, you're sitting around going, wow, Silicon Valley is going to let people go. There are all kinds of tweets out about what ChatGPT is going to do in terms of disrupting the employment picture. People are selling government bonds for the sport of it, but let's raise rates more. Stop it. Stop it. right? Zuckerberg is going to have to follow Musk. They're all going to have to follow Musk. And sadly, the employment capitulation at Google, I'm afraid, is going to be epic. Google employs, as I understand it, 175,000 people. 175,000 people, actually. Let's just ask. Let's see what it says. Okay, so as of 2021, 130,000 people work at Google, according to ChatGPT. So is that going to be the case, or are they going to have to let 40% of those people go? That's when the tightening cycle ends. Okay, now back to AI and ChatGPT. So yesterday on the stream, we essentially asked, my producer really moves fast, and I said, you know, if ChatGPT or Skynet takes over, what currency would they use? And ChatGPT said they might use something. The question was, if we use the computer ran everything, what currency would it use? And it basically said we use computer-friendly coins like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and we may not, we may not have seen the currency that's yet to be invented. Okay, that's yet to be invented. And guess what? I posted that on Twitter. I took a snapshot of the Twitter and put it on Instagram. Guess what happened? I lost 10 Twitter followers, and IG only showed the snapshot of that tweet to 2 people. Now, I've only got 200 followers on Instagram, or 246. By the way, thank you to each one of those followers on IG, because I do want to bring the live stream or a live stream to IG. Wink. Silicon Valley is afraid of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to force them to be more efficient. But the fear trade over AI really seems unbelievable. What they should be doing, or what investors should be doing, instead of trading fear over AI, they should be trading things like efficiency, right? Higher stock prices, the Fed having to get real because of a true employment disruption. Continuing unemployment claims are higher. That means people who are starting on unemployment are staying on unemployment. And of course they are. How can you have an industry like Silicon Valley letting tens of thousands of people go? Where are they going to go? So corporations more efficient, Fed done, no matter what they say, right? And crypto takes the future of money, the future of human money, the future of computer money, etc. Meanwhile, Flux Finance launches lending token collateralized by U.S. Treasuries. Hey now, DeFi discipline, right? When you have a brush fire and the whole forest burns down, whatever grows back comes back stronger. Stronger. So no more DeFi shenanigans. If we're going to have interest rates and we're going to have yield, let's do it off treasuries, bonds, finance. Finance is coming to crypto. Okay. Meanwhile, Robinhood's boards authorizes the purchase of all the shares bought by FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried. Gee, I wonder if the people who own Robinhood think crypto and the stock market could go up because people are too bearish. I wonder. Meanwhile, NFTs get their first physical touch with the world's first store opened in Dubai. I call this phygital, right? Now, whoops. Called phygital, right? You buy an NFT of a jacket that your little character wears in the metaverse. They mail you a jacket, a one of a kind that has an artist's QR code on it. You scan the QR code and it tells you information about the artist. And who gets the money from that? Gucci or the artist? The artist, right? NFTs connected to digital goods, connected to real goods, the way Bark and GLDN want to, connect tokens and the blockchain to anything from gold to diamonds, down in the jewelry district to price discovery in water. The digital connects to the physical. Phygital. And it's happening right now, and everyone's selling everything. Now, an example of crypto stupidity from the last cycle. Okay, in a trademark battle between an NFT artist and a famous handbag maker, the artist just lost. So this is a handbag, and some artist took liberties to take the handbag of a famous big player and make art out of someone else's art. No. Okay. This is an example of the last cycle's nonsense. The last cycle's nonsense is not going to cut it. The last cycle's analytical framework is not going to work this next cycle. This was fantastic way back when, but nobody wants to touch Phygital. Nobody wants to touch Phygital. Nobody wants to touch crypto. I'm on a crypto Twitter space this morning, and I had to get up off the floor when somebody gives me a hard time that the project I work for was built on Ethereum. It's not decentralized enough. And I say to this person, well, bro, which would you rather have? Would you rather have Ethereum or, Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke? And he goes, neither. I'm like, oh, Vitalik or Bernanke? Neither. In my mind, once I calmed down, I was like, oh my God, the Ethereum price target in my head just went way up. How high does ETH have to go before he changes his mind? Please, right? The stuff from the last cycle has infected people's mind, and I'm glad whoever decided to try to rip off a purse maker, it didn't turn out good. He could have done this art some other way. Geopolitics, the rhetoric, the propaganda, it's getting nasty. And it could give you the dip now. It could give you the dip in February. This is worth going over because, again, you had FOMO in AI coins. So everybody bought what smart money was selling. Now war rhetoric picks up. Putin probably supplied a missile that downed a plane, in 2014. Nothing is off the table in terms of giving Zelensky jets as he heads for Europe for a PR event in advance of the 1-year anniversary of the war. And I lost my Associated Press headline, looking for Ukrainian conflict updates. The Russians are not playing around. Meanwhile, Credit Suisse in legacy, right? We don't want Ethereum, but Credit Suisse posts the biggest annual loss since 2008. Like legacy cracking. Hey, Jay, are you paying attention? Are you paying attention? Zuckerberg is ready to start showing people the door. Showing people the door. Speaking of showing people the door, everyone's just going to do 5%. 5%, 10%. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Right? It's not going to stop until the Fed wakes up. Then what will be left is more efficient companies and the end to this nonsensical tightening cycle, which probably isn't going to solve the cost of food and energy. They did what they had to do, but they're done. I don't care what they have to say about it. Meanwhile, they're going to bring this guy back. Right? In other words, policy error, You know, if everyone hates Ethereum, great. Perfect. You don't like Ethereum, but what do you like? You like politicians, the SEC. What do you like? Okay. Well, if you don't like any of those, you know, if you don't like Ethereum and you don't like the decentralized world and you're still in favor of the nonsense that's out there, you're going to get somebody who is firmly against the nonsense that's out there. So you don't have to like this guy. You don't have to not like this guy. But if you like the establishment, don't forget about what happened in 2016. Okay. Now, that I think covered the news and any rant. All right. We have Matthias here, love from Switzerland. Robert wants me to look at Boson Protocol. Okay. We have Bypass Barry. Block Connect, slap the like button. Okay, Through the Wire wants to know why ETH is down. Okay, good question. Okay, ETH is down because the fear is everything that comes out of Kraken. Okay, in other words, when everyone has to unstake, everyone's just going to sell. Right? If they can't get yield, they're going to unload. So I'm looking at ETH on short-term charts. So on a 240-minute chart, it looks like support in ETH is at 1560. So people bought too much. People got too long. Okay, I actually have an AI watch list. So it looks like Flux, which is a DeFi coin that's not necessarily AI. So everything that was up 20%, you know, VA, IoT, all these like coins that the media is deeming AI coins are all down 25%. Okay. So you rotated out of this stuff, you rotated into ETH. Now they're dropping ETH. Okay, that sucks. I get it. Like, let's just look at Cardano on a 90-minute chart. Nope, not coming up. Come on. Okay, I'm going to go over here, right? I'm going to try to get symbolic back up again. Got to have my DeMark work. Okay, while I do this, one of the toughest things to do in bull markets is to remember that it's a bull market. Okay, I'm going to unshare for just a minute while I pull this up. In other words, when everything was going up 25% and everyone was declaring the bull market was back, it was easy to remember it's a bull market. Now it's going the other way, and everybody thinks it's over. It's not over, right? This is when you make your money in bull markets. Now, you have to pick your spots, and you have to let them kill it. But it's the opposite of what it was 2 days ago, right? 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, you had people just doing nonstop buying, and now you've got people doing nonstop selling. Okay, I lost DeMark, so I'm going to have to come over here to PowerPoint. Thank God I had backup. And we'll do TA from there, and then we'll do live TA. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. This is the voice of reason in probably an otherwise down market, which could last a couple days. Okay, this dipped more than I would have expected. It doesn't matter. I still think this is a cone-like coiling process in ETH. I thought this thing was going to burst through 1700. The fact that it came back to 1560, I think, is a gift. I can do a redraw on this for live TA. In case you weren't here yesterday, this is an accumulation cone. This is from Jesse Livermore, from Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, probably the first and most famous technical analyst back in the early 1920s. When things accumulate in a range like this, where it's upward sloping, After they get done puking it out, it turns around and goes parabolic. The Fed is done. Okay, DeepBrain Chain. Anybody ever wanted to see a perfect example of what a DeMark top looked like? This would be it, right? 1 through 9 is the setup phase. Okay, that's the first part of the trend. Somewhere around the 9, you get a pause. Then the trend goes into countdown. So then you get 1 through 13, right? These are sets of conditions. Like, I don't know, the high is higher than the high 2 days ago. You know, you'd have to quit your job to sit around and study how DeMark made these signals. He was one of the original quant technical analysts. So this is a perfect example of DeMark sequential, and then things come off. Okay. Sell emotion. Sell emotion, buy quality on a dip, right? US Super Bowl's coming up, chips and dip for everybody. The thumbnail for today is enjoy the dip. Now you're like, Bill, how can I enjoy the dip? I don't like losing money. No one likes losing money. But the idea of a dip being good is not only good in ETH, which again, I just spent, I don't know, 5 minutes defending on a Twitter space, like for a major financial group. All right. Dips are good in bull markets. Just remember, a record number of Americans expect stocks to go down over the next 6 months, which is why when the market does go down, it feels like the end of the world because everybody is bearish. Okay, S&P. S&P is breaking above resistance. It's correcting today. Is the ceiling now the floor? I've got a fib extension line and I've got horizontal resistance that's been broken and is currently being retested. Let me ask you this. Does a market ever trade bad at a top? Did this look terrible when these giant green candles were happening in DeepBrain? No. It looked like it was going to Mars. Right? Conversely, on a retest, it's going to look like shit. It's like, oh my God, it's too high. Oh my God, it looks terrible at a bottom. I mean, look at this here. Look at this bottom. This was like December. I mean, there's like 8 candles here. It just looks like it's every time it went up, it went back down. It traded terrible. And then boom. Okay. Now, could there be a war problem? Yes. Is there war rhetoric out there creating fear? Yes. Do markets climb the wall of worry? Yes. Now, there's going to be a geopolitical event. There's going to be a weather event. Something is going to happen. Is it going to happen now? The only way to find out, not investment advice, is to buy a dip and see. Meanwhile, everybody is negative on something that is clearly breaking out. Now, if it's a false breakout, well, I guess Mr. Market will let us know. But in the meantime, I mean, I got bullish on this whole thing on January 3rd. I am certainly not going to quit now, and neither should you. Again, not investment advice. I'm talking about the philosophy. Is a dip good? Yes. Is losing money fun? No. But if you got powder and they crushed this thing today, what are they crushing it on? Making the innocent pay for the guilty? Please. Everybody's going to unstake their ETH and sell it at the market? Oh, I guess so, according to the meatball I talked to today, because ETH is not decentralized. All of a sudden, we don't believe in Vitalik. If we don't believe in Vitalik, that's fine. They can continue to not believe in Vitalik. We'll see you at 3,500. Okay? We will see you at 3,500. NASDAQ 100 monthly. What do I prefer? Do I prefer Web 3 or Web 2? Well, I prefer Web 3. You want to know what I would love? I would love Web 2 embracing Web 3. In other words, if Web 2 gets more efficient, trims the fat, even though it's sad what happens to the people. And then Amazon partners with Avalanche. Meta brings AI into the metaverse. Microsoft finally has a decent search engine. Web 2 meets Web 3. Web 2 is forced to adopt Web 3. ETH is Web 3. So is Solana and Avalanche and the metaverse, etc. I had a slide, I think I closed it, showing like the countries that hate the metaverse, the countries that like the metaverse, and the countries that hate the metaverse. Ironically, the United States is one of the countries where, like, I don't know, some large percentage of the tweets about the metaverse are negative. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, they love the idea of the metaverse. At what point do we wake up? Like, everyone was like, wow, AI is here. No, bro, AI's been here for a while. It's been here for a while. Here we go. Let's come off PowerPoint for just a moment for a mini metaverse. I don't know. I guess it's rant day. Here's a list of the countries that love the metaverse the most. 57% of metaverse-related tweets from Vietnam were positive sentiment supporting the metaverse. Nigeria, Indonesia, Ukraine, Philippines, Vietnam. Maybe they like places. Maybe they want to be more free. Maybe they see economic opportunity. Meanwhile, Canada, the United States, we're against innovation? What? What? I mean, I can't speak for anybody else. I can't. But since when is the United States against innovation? And frankly, if the public or whoever is against it, it's going higher. Do you know how many people told me in 2000, I will never, ever, ever stick my credit card in to the internet? Ever. I went up for 20 years. It went up for 20 years. 12% of the people say, oh, I'm never doing the metaverse. Okay. You guys let me know how that works out long term. It doesn't. It doesn't. And everyone is sleeping at the wheel on NDX. Like, see, it's down today. And everyone goes, oh, well, I told you. It's down. See, when it's down, that lulls people to sleep. Okay, great. I cannot pay attention. I got to buy it later. No, this is when you got to pay attention, right? Because there's so much cash sitting on the sideline. U.S. money market funds, total net assets, all-time high, way above 2008 levels. People are selling and never coming back. Can you imagine how hot, what happens? How high would prices have to go to make them come back? In other words, price would move first, and then they go, oh, I got to get in. And that would make prices move harder before they top. You want to get in now while everybody's going, oh my God, Ethereum or Fed governors, neither. So you're putting cash in a coffee can and burying it in your backyard? That's what people are doing. And I heard it on a Twitter space this morning, which just increased my conviction. If you want to understand what's going on with artificial intelligence, you got to read AI Superpowers, right? China, Silicon Valley, and the New World Order. Okay, I'm going to stop the share for just 1 minute. Okay, I got a lot of people asking me, you know, what's going to happen to my job? What's going to happen to my job? I think this is a tough question, right? That I think needs to be answered, if I can answer it. And our research guy, who is the best research guy in crypto, by the way, period, bar none, in my not so humble opinion. Okay. Here is 20 human jobs that will be replaced by AI and why AI can do it better. So data entry, telemarketing, bookkeeping, customer service, data analyst, market researchers. I don't know. Hopefully that's marketing. It could be me. They've been replacing me with a computer for years. Okay. Manufacturing workers, delivery drivers, content moderators who can flag and remove inappropriate content, retail salespeople, bank tellers, stockbrokers, travel agents, call centers, survey researchers, medical diagnostics, transcriptionists, paralegals, security guards, HR recruiters. Now, why did I read that list? Why? Because everyone who's on that list, once upon a time, I was on that list, and I may still be on that list. What did I do about it? After I read this book, I believe I read this book in 2018. I got into crypto. And you're sitting out there going, Bill, are you telling me that the solution to AI-based anxiety about my employment and my investments is to embrace crypto when everyone hates crypto? Because if crypto gives you capital appreciation and utility, that is a hedge against an employment disruption. Let me be clear. That is exactly what I'm telling you. So you can be scared or prepared, as a group of preppers that I hang out with like to say. Why am I showing this? I have to be showing it. Why am I showing this? So you can get prepared and not scared. So let me ask you this. Which would you prefer? Laying awake at night going, oh, something's going to happen to my job? Or, hey, let's get with the market update. Let's buy a book. Let's read some charts. Let's come up with my research methodology for crypto. Because guess what? You're not too early. You're not too late. You are right on time. Right on time. Right? Because meanwhile, what are they doing today in crypto? I can't even look. They're just selling it with reckless abandon. As somebody tells me they don't want Ethereum over Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke. Wow. Those people are they're gonna have to send me a box of chocolates to shut up about that. Let me tell you. The dollar index, my favorite. If the dollar index is below 104, it's somewhat bearish. If the dollar index is below a hidden pivot analysis at 103, it's very bearish, which could lead to 95.85. This could actually occur because people start losing faith in U.S. bonds. I don't know. All I know is dollar, Bitcoin, yes. Gold, yes. GLDN, Bark, yes. Wow, did we get shit about that today? That may have to be a whole separate rant. Everybody loves the dollar. Nobody wants dollar alternatives. Nobody wants alternatives to the legacy system. They're still stuck in the hate from last year and the love of this. So crypto hate, dollar love won't stop. Excellent. I have the other side of you forever until they just carry me out and I have to have a humble pie live stream. Dollar index below 103, 95.85. Now, all that said, want to be probabilistic. War could happen. When war happens, war escalates. People buy the dollar. So I want to be somewhat, let's keep it a balanced rant. Okay? A balanced rant. But the dollar, if it's below 104 or below 103, they can take the dollar and, stick it somewhere. Inflation plus a Fed slowdown after overdoing it is positive for gold as central banks add to their gold holdings. And as my boss said this morning on this Twitter space, frequently what they do in gold and they do in everything is they put pressure on the market. They push it down, they push it down, they push it down, which is what they're doing right now in gold and ETH and Bitcoin. They're going to find the stops. They're going to run the stops. Everybody's going to sell. And let me ask you this very simply, very quietly. when you sell your gold, if you sell your gold, your Ethereum, your Bitcoin, your wheat futures, let me ask you something. Who are you selling it to? The market's like cascading lower. Okay. Who's the buyer? Like when the SEC goes, ooh, and all the hedge funds that missed it are like, oh my God, thank God. I thought this thing was going to blow through 1,700 and I was going to miss it. If you sell today, who are you selling it to? Because when people were buying AI coins up 50 and 100%, okay, the smart money that had owned AI for 3 years was selling. So you bought all those coins from smart money sellers. You're selling big cap crypto down here. Who are you selling it to? CRB, Commodity Research Bureau Index. I've been tracking this thing as it sort of sits around the apex of a triangle. It can be really interesting because if this triangle is drawn correctly, because I use TradingView to do this, the closer you are to the apex of a triangle, if a breakout occurs, it can be a massively violent breakout. Now, I'm interested in this because this fits the thesis. Dollar lower, commodities, gold, wheat higher, and ETH likes to follow gold and grains. That's from statistical analysis I did. I didn't do it. One of my analysts did it a year ago. So bullish commodities is bullish ETH. And just for the hell of it, there is a diamond formation in wheat futures. So if there's a geopolitical event, it may result in commodities up, dollar down, ETH and gold up. A lot of people aren't looking at this, and they need to be. In other words, is a geopolitical event good for crypto? I would argue yes, because the Fed has to wake up and stop the shenanigans, right? You guys talk tough. You did your job. Let's give them a break, right? You can't have inflation at 8% and rates at 0. They needed to do something. Okay, they did it. They talked tough, but now they have to wake up. They're not looking at the big picture. They're looking at whatever lagging economist nerd indicators. So food up, gold up, Fed done, ETH up, Bitcoin up. They're selling you Bitcoin today below 22K, I think. Okay, here's my ETH chart, which I have to go fix. Okay. Explain the argument that gold and silver markets are manipulated. Just for the heck of it, right? This has always been something complex that I've always had a hard time with. Okay. The third paragraph, others argue that the precious metals market are subject to manipulation because of the large amounts of paper contracts that are traded without corresponding physical delivery. These paper contracts can be used to manipulate prices as they allow market participants to sell or purchase large amounts of gold and silver without actually acquiring or delivering physical metal. Why am I reading you this? Because again, on the Twitter space this morning, for like, I don't know, the third or fourth consecutive of these Twitter spaces, it is fashionable to smash the Gold Retriever Project as we try to bring gold, a small cap gold play connected to a water price discovery play that's connected to bringing the volume of jewelry at 47th Street in New York into the on-chain world. Listen to them absolutely give us a hard time about it, right? And you know why? Because what's old is new again. The whole reason I like that project is because people using crypto analytics frameworks from the last 2 cycles don't get that the next cycle is about reality, practicality, and solving problems like legacy manipulation. Again, if the choices are ETH, Bernanke, I'll take neither. How high is ETH going to have to go? 1. 2, when somebody comes up with a solution to bring commodity price discovery on chain, how high is it going to have to go before, excuse me, nerds go, wow, you know what? These guys may have figured something out. Like, where are prices going to be by the time that happens, given how dug in they are? I mean, they don't like ETH. Never mind gold, water, wheat, etc. on chain. This is a lesson about bearish sentiment. Nobody's questioning market manipulation, but they're questioning guys who want to innovate. And I'm not talking us. I'm talking about Vitalik. Now, with all that said, let's go see. Let's go check out what kind of selling we got going on. Okay. So I've lost DeMark. Just got a message that, we're aware. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we are. Let's get some DeMark. Okay. So what are they doing on the 90-minute chart of ETH? Well, they're selling it into a DeMark support point at 1561. So let me leave this here and let me go check out what's going on. Okay. Zach Blackstone, the 1 through 9 and 13 chart is called DeMark sequential. D-wave is something different where DeMark uses his math to calculate Elliott waves. Okay. Lawn Shark giving me some love. I appreciate that. Okay. Lee says, oh God, I love this. Don't believe Vitalik, believe Jim Cramer. Cramer's having a tough time. He's probably crying all the way to the bank. There's no such thing as bad publicity. But again, who are you listening to? Who do you believe in? Right? Luis says the Twitter space was interesting, but Seth did well. You know what? As a matter of fact, my boss kicked ass and took names. They gave him a hard time, and he was like, you know what? Bringing commodities trading outside the legacy world is a decentralized philosophy. Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah. Right? Vitalik going proof of stake, he's getting gas fees down. Okay, yeah, proof of work is decentralized, but when you have to pay $700 to do a trade, is that decentralized? When somebody's taking that $700 and putting it in their pocket so you can push a button? I mean, yeah, proof of work is decentralized. Now, to put this in perspective, in case you're rich or poor, roughly $750, that's 40 hours of work at $22 an hour. Somebody could do the math after taxes. You got to work a whole week to pay a gas fee. And Vitalik turning around and fixing that and lowering gas is bad? Come on. Now, I know you get this, so I don't have to rant at you. So thank you for listening to me. But this is a case it gets out there. Someone's like, hey, what's crypto? What are they all about? Well, we're about your freedom. It's about your freedom. It's about the internet, commodities, price discovery, stuff that you read that I read in economics books, or could listen to Ronald Reagan when he would get on TV and talk about economics. Okay? Crypto in the Matrix is here. Welcome. Okay? We got 100 comments. I appreciate that. Okay? Rudy is here. Thank you. Wrong again says it's about property rights. That's right. That's like a Michael Saylor thing, I think. Right? Owning crypto, owning Bitcoin is like owning property rights. Okay. We will ask ChatGPT if ETH is sufficiently decentralized. I closed ChatGPT to get DeMark up and running. Let's look at a 4-hour chart of Cardano. Oh, look, they're selling it into support. Now, can they run the stops? Yeah. Is this daily chart pretty? Not really. There could be 4 more down days in Cardano. Okay. Bitcoin daily. Now, here's something that I will remind you. So, support was 22.7. They broke that support. And I've seen this in bull markets before. And the way I saw it is I was the reverse indicator. So here's what I would see. I would see this 13 top, and I would see this thing break down massively. And I would go, this is totally effed. This is going to zero. It's going to blow up. And then you know what they would do? Like I swear to God, the Fed or hedge funds, they were reading my report. I was the reverse indicator. I was Kramer. I swear to God, the thing would go down and every chart would break. And when the charts broke, as counterintuitive as this is going to sound, here's my counterintuitive chart. As counterintuitive as this would sound, when the charts look like they broke, that was the bottom. That was either when the Fed came in or hedge funds came in front of the Fed. QE would start, the chart would unbreak, and I would be left in a state of dismay. Bitcoin 4-hour chart, 9 bottom, goes sideways, 13 and 9 bottom, right in front of the DeMark support at 21,600. Your Honor, I rest my case. You're selling this stuff down here. You may be selling it to smart money. Now, am I arrogant that I know exactly where the bottom is? Am I arrogant to say that the SEC can't create more downside? Am I arrogant to say that there could be a geopolitical event that could cause this to get wrecked or a problem in the bond market? No, of course not. I understand the risks. But what I do understand is the market has paid you to buy on red. Okay. Now, going back to ETH over here, let's see if my cone formation has survived the debacle. So part of live TA is saying I drew something and I have to check to see if it broke or not. Like, did it break? And does the redraw make sense? Correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe this looks more like a cone now that they stretched it out over here. Right? Because I can now connect all these bottoms and it comes in right here. And I'm undoubtedly not the only person looking at this. This is the ETH 89-minute chart. So, you know, the Williams oscillator got close to zero. A big move transpired. The big move was down. But now, again, I will bring the other Livermore chart back up again. This just makes the upside bigger, assuming they don't crush this and destroy this whole formation. Okay, which, you know, I don't know why that would happen unless everybody is going to sell all at once. Like when you have bull markets, you want to see these capitulation rallies. Phoenix is here. Brick Dreams, welcome. He says the FUD seems endless. That's true. And somebody else is saying ETH could go to 1451. That's also true. You won't know if it's a bull market unless you can buy a dip and make money. Kent is asking, is alt season over? Okay. It depends what you mean by alt season, right? It is the mania in small coins over? Probably for the short term, right? Because you have Fantom down 13%, right? You have Avalanche down 8%. All the big coins are down 8%, which means the small coins are probably down more. Okay, I liked Near. I got hosed on that. That went up for one day and turned around. So everything's down 10%. And let me ask you something. Why are all these coins down 10%? They're down 10% because everybody bought the top. Everybody thought the bull market was back. The bull market was back in January. What you want to be doing is taking advantage of people who are puking it out because bull markets suck. They are painful. You don't want to get in. And then when it's comfortable to get in, they turn around and drop it. Lord Junta says, we shall overcome. Farmer Sam Forrest is encouraging you on the like button. Wrong again says, we haven't had alt season. It's been sector rotation. Oh my God, wrong again could practically do the show. Take a vacation day. Okay. Village Cooking is asking, how much money would a few whales need to coordinate a pump BTC either up or down? You know what, bro? Not much. Not much, especially when you got this kind of a headline. This kind of a headline's like, oh, wow, goody. We can run all the stops today. Let's find the stops. You don't think they know where the stops are? Oh, my God, please. They're stopping everybody out. Like if you go back over here, okay, you don't think they know that there's maybe a DeMark line at 1537? Or maybe if you go back to, this is a 4-hour chart. If you go to the 90-minute Ethereum chart, you don't think they know that there's probably people with stops down here at 1550? Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, yeah. Okay, the SEC meeting was about them settling with Kraken, basically telling them that staking was over. Okay, they're basically saying staking is banking or staking is securities of some kind. They basically want to eliminate staking in the United States. Now, is that a short-term bearish thing? Yes. Is that going to force better innovation? Yes, it is. Right? Okay, Knighton is asking, what's the outlook for the 31st of March BTC? All right, well, sir, I have some capabilities here, but predicting a price on that exact day is tough. Right? My inclination is you want to come out of March long. Now, what can they do to this thing in the meantime? Can they continue to chop around? Yes. Can they run stops? Yes. Can they convince you it's not a bull market anymore? They can try. They can try. Okay, if you look at Ethereum monthly, nothing has happened here. Okay, it's basically back where we started the month of February, just as a reminder. Okay, Bitcoin is actually below where they started this month, giving you discount shopping, pressing on a moving average. Everyone was like, oh my God, I got to buy Bitcoin. I can't wait to buy Bitcoin. Gee, I hope it goes back down again. Okay, folks, here we are. We're here. Okay, we're here. Okay, $menu.eth is here. Welcome. Welcome to anybody who's here on the stream. Okay. Let's see what else I got here. Okay, somebody is here from Guitar. JCH, welcome. Okay, Ken is also here. Aruna, welcome. I stack crypto loke. How you doing? Welcome to the new people. Okay, let's see if I can find Boson Protocol. Okay, 23 cents is support. Okay, very, very interesting chart. Okay. So one of the things that you can get out of this is that, you know, I'm sure people liked it because in early January, it went straight up. You got to be careful that they don't wash everybody out down to 20 cents. Now, one of the things I talked about, and this is a great talking point, okay, is that you got to watch the flash crash. How do flash crashes work? Well, it starts out down 3 or 4%, and then all of a sudden it's down 10 to 15 as they run all the stops. So this brings us back to like a trading tactics thing. Okay, Keza asks, has the SEC made up an announcement yet? Not that I know of. Kerry is welcoming us from Ontario. You got to be careful and you got to save powder, right, in case this gets stupid, because frequently that is what happens, right? This is Fantom 4-hour chart, right? Up and up and up. Okay, you got a 9 bottom, And you're probably going to have a 13 soon. Probably by the end of today. Let's just look at the 90-minute chart. Okay. So you're approaching a 13 bottom on multiple time frames. But again, people may panic. A lot of times just because the 13 bottom is coming doesn't always mean it stops. Now, it should stop. There's a cluster of support here. You've got a 9 bottom, and you'll get a 13 after that. But if they puke this thing and they run the stops, now how will you know? You're probably asking or wondering, what's running the stops mean? Well, you'll know. That's when everybody sells and it looks horrible and it's going to go down. It's down 12% and then it comes back. Okay. Carry Chaos wants to be in 25% cash. Okay. Okay. ETN. Don't have that on DeMark. Okay, let's go over here, see if I can get ETN over here. Okay, very, very interesting chart. Not exactly easy to read. Let's go to a daily chart, see what we get. So this is ETN, undoubtedly a smaller altcoin. So what do we notice? We notice that when it rallied to resistance, they were in a hurry to sell and it went down. So a lot of these coins ran up to resistance, but they didn't back off. Today, they're backing off. What you want to see in this is you want to see somebody coming in and saying, okay, I'll buy the dip, right? This Williams oscillator here near zero means that, there's a big move coming and that big move appears to be in process and it could be down. So like I said, let them run the stops. Let them run the stops. Okay. HTF. Not getting HTF unless somebody's referring to high time frame analysis, which they might be. Okay. Thoughts on the graph as a long-term hold. Okay, so I had an article up about the graph earlier. It really explained a lot of their upside catalysts. So my guess about the graph is this. So tactically, this has got room to go down. Okay. One of the things that you got to remember is, yes, this could be the bigger the base, the higher in the space because of how long this thing has sat down here. So what you're looking for is you're looking for some sort of DeMark related bottom, which we don't have yet. So I'm going to a 90-minute chart. My guess is this has got to hold 13 cents, 14 cents, 14.77. Okay, that's support. 13 cents is a bigger support. That was the location of a 13 top right before this went parabolic. So what they're doing is they're washing out everybody. And the real question isn't, is the graph a long-term hold? The question is, are big hedge funds like Multicoin Capital using this ramp as an excuse to get out? Or did they create the ramp, they pumped it, and now they're unloading it? You won't know that until it retests support. So if all these people who jumped in here get washed out, it'll be all right. If not, then this was your classic, here's a bunch of catalysts, let's pump it, and then let's unload it because they happen to get it going along with the AI trade. Okay. So Vatican Life is noting that render is down 16%. One of the things I was trying to explain to people, like if you have a winner in like the crypto spring environment, have a winner, okay, take the money and put it somewhere else. Just rotate, right? This is why you rotate, right? Everybody who's bought render since the first of the month is about to get pressured and could lose money. Why? You know, you get something that's up that much and everybody's like, oh my God, the bull market is back. You know, when I've been exhausted screaming about the bull market, okay, when everyone says it's back, it dumps. So this is render on a 90-minute chart. Okay. Again, more textbook sequential, right? Not perfect, but you know, there's the 13 top. It'll rally to like the blow off top point at 206 and comes off. Okay. If you had used the money from this, you'd have powder for ETH at 1560. Okay. Village Cooking says, if you're losing 80% or more on your trades, just do the opposite of what you were doing. Anyone tried that, that would mean you'd be right 80% of the time. Okay, let's talk about this. If you're losing in 80% of your trades, then you've got to change your research methodology, or you're just trading on raw emotion. Now, I once heard of a trader at Wall Street who would train young people by telling them to use paper trading and to lose money on purpose. Lose money on purpose. And most of the time, what the young people would do is they would buy when everyone was selling, and they would sell when everyone is buying. They goes, well, it's going up. I'll lose money on purpose. I'll sell. And it's going down. So I'll lose money on purpose. I'll buy. And guess what? By trying to lose money on purpose, they actually wound up making money and learning something about trading. Now, there is also a concept of fade yourself, right? So if you have a lampshade on your head because you've made so much money and you can't believe it, and you're having a party and crypto influencers saying the bull market is back, take the lampshade off your head, put your beer down, log into your computer, and hit the red button. Okay. And conversely, when they're hiding under the desk and they want CZ and Binance to go down, like in September, you just grab the Hoover vacuum and you buy everything. Now, when bull markets start to mature and everyone's like, okay, you know, is it a bear market? Is it a bull market? People can get really chopped up, which is why a couple streams ago, I'm like, hey, stick with the bigger coins, right? Stick with the bigger coins. Yeah, you can have an alt season, but you can also have blowouts, right? Bull markets do this. Flash crashes, like here it is, right? There's them running the stops in Bitcoin at 21,000, at 22,000. Okay, Mr. Moby Dick says probably raw emotion. You got to figure out how to take the emotion out of what you're doing. And you know what? Sometimes that means just trading less. And if you're on a horrible losing streak, it means doing the hardest thing in the world, which is not trading at all. Sometimes you just have to collect yourself. You think I have never been on a losing streak? Some people come on the stream and they go, you know, Bill, how do you learn this? Like, how do you learn about sentiment? Or how did you know that when you go from the most horrible bear market ever, when you rise from the ashes, great pain creates great opportunity? Well, because I fought the equity market bottom in 2009, and, you know, on a long-term career perspective, embarrassed myself. That's how I learned it. I would recommend you watch the market update, subscribe to this channel, and hit the like button so you don't have to go through that. That's how I learned it. The School of Hard Knocks. And I'm very passionate about helping other people so it doesn't happen to you. So you're not going, oh my God, they broke the ETH chart. Oh my God, it's going down. It might be, but you got to be careful in these bull market environments, because that's what they do. They break the charts and then they bring it back. Or they break the chart so bad that they have a flash crash, run the stops, then bring it back. Either way, be ready for either one. Kerry is here. Welcome. Okay. The second crypto banter said AI, it was over. Right. Little thing I want to tell you, it was very unpopular. Very unpopular. If you have a crypto project that says they're in AI, in order to be in AI, you have to have massive amounts of data. Massive. Otherwise, machines can't learn. Now, when machines start learning, it's a mystery. They learn, but humans can't understand what they learn or how they learn it. The only thing you know is that you have to feed it massive amounts of data. Like they fed Chat GPT, the whole internet. Pretty much. So if you're in some crypto project and some like micro cap crypto project says, hey, we're in AI. Okay. You know, what kind of databases do they have? What kind of, you know, what kind of things are they teaching their machine? You better know these things. Because if you don't know these things, you know what you're doing? Anybody who invested in AI, whether it was 6 months, a year ago, or 3 years ago, you just became their exit liquidity. The AI trade is Meta, Microsoft, Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, Cardano. Web3 is the AI trade because it provides greater efficiency, huge immediate incentives to cost cut and innovate, which brings the Fed to its conclusion. That's what you think about on a day when everybody is selling off this hootenanny. The SEC just looking to blame somebody else for their mistakes. Excellent. Where's ETH now? ETH down about 4%. So they wiped out all the gains since February 1st because the SEC blamed someone else for their mistakes. Okay. I am going to leave you with that. Okay. Make sure you know where your risk management levels are and make sure you understand that buying on red is a good thing. Selling on green is a good thing. Sector rotation, risk management. Most importantly, don't stop believing in crypto. And remember, there are people out there who don't think there's any difference between Vitalik and Fed governors. How high does it have to go before those numbskulls wake up and change their mind? That's what you think about on an ugly 5% down day. I'm your host, Bill Noble. We'll see you tomorrow.